Episode 9.2. Before you understand about checkpoint number 1, what time is it? How many of you answered that it is time for a bit of theoretical understanding? Because that is the wrong answer. This is what happens when you're used to things having a certain form of answer. Whatever little theoretical knowledge I have told you so far about Pitratarpanam, that much is enough. It is now time to see what you have done with this amount of theoretical knowledge. It is time to see if you've put it into practical application, and even if you haven't, it is time to face your karma. In today's world, the year 2026, the world is filled with a majority of people who are ignorant, who are ungrateful, who are selfish, and who put their own selfish interest ahead of the well-being of the others. In such a ignorance-filled world, if somebody can handle this, it is only Shakti who can do that. And as an reincarnation of Shakti, the purpose of taking this birth has been started. I have started working towards the reason for this reincarnation. And all those people who prevented the masses from knowing about me, from knowing about this birth of mine, well, you chose to prevent it. Okay, that is your free will. But your free will also has its consequences. And it is time for you to face the consequences of your free will. I choose to take a very, very casual approach to this very, very serious situation that the world is facing today. And I choose to keep this very simple. Look at the picture in the screen. And here's my question. What should you do if you want to send a rocket to outer space? If you want the exact science for the answer, then you have to contact ISRO if you're in India, or if you're somewhere outside India, then contact the space research organization of your country, because they will tell you the exact rocket science behind it. But if you want to answer this question in such a way that even an illiterate person can understand, then a very simple answer, a very simple way to answer this question is, what do you have to do if you want to send something to outer space? You have to set its rear on fire. Now look at another picture on your screen. This is taken randomly from the internet. The wise ones say that there is a Shakti, there is an energy that is sleeping within you, and they call it the Kundalini Shakti. Now, in order for your mind to understand, let's call this Shakti as Kundalini Shakti. They say that this Shakti is sleeping at the root chakra, at your base chakra. And once this Kundalini Shakti is awakened, then your perception of life changes and you will begin to experience changes in your life. So what should be done to awaken this Kundalini Shakti that is sleeping and that is lying dormant within you? Simple answer. I need to set your rear on fire. Before that, what is the population of your country? What is the population of this world? And how many ignorant people are here in this world? If everybody across your country, everybody across the continents, across the planet have to be awakened, there is just one person who can do that, who can awaken the masses. And that person is Shakti. And therefore, it is going to be Shakti who is going to awaken the ignorant Shakti that is sleeping and lying dormant within you. Once a person is born on this earth plane, there are certain laws that are applicable to that person, certain divine laws. And it is applicable for anybody and everybody. Divine laws are not gender specific. They are not species specific. It is applicable to everybody. And if there is one person, if there is one entity who has the authority and the power to enforce these facts, that person is Shakti. Now, in today's world, so called 21st century, the year 2026, the world is at a height of spiritual ignorance where the masses just care about themselves. Nobody really cares about the greater good. Nobody really cares about the accumulation of their karmic baggage. Everybody just has their own selfish needs and they just worry about their own individual gains and losses. In such a ignorant, ungrateful world, whatever laws have, whatever laws exist so far, it's not enough, and it has not been able to check the spread of ignorance. So, if these laws, divine laws, need to be changed, if these divine laws needs improvement, if some revision has to be introduced to it, then again there is just one person who has the authority and the power to do so and to enforce it across the board, to enforce it across countries, across continents, across the world, across the cosmos. And that entity is Shakti. And therefore, it is Shakti who's going to be enforcing it. And therefore, there are certain new checkpoints that are going to be introduced going forward. Facts. Point number 1. Going forward, these are going to be permanently and eternally set. Point number 2. There are no exceptions to this. This is applicable to everybody across the board. Point number 3. Nobody can change this. If you want to try to do so, then you will face the consequences for your actions. Because you even trying to change this is going to affect the karma of people across planets, across the cosmos. And there is only one person who has the authority and the power to enforce such a huge change, and that is Shakti. Point number 4. These checkpoints are applicable across all countries, across all continents, across all religions, across all species, and across the cosmos. Fixed checkpoint number 1. When is this going to happen? The first event will start 6 months from today. Who is it going to affect? All 15-year-olds on their 15th birthday, whose 15th birthday comes after 6 months from today. What should you be doing? Now, if an individual is born here on the earth plane, the moment a child is born, the child comes with its karmic baggage. Now, certain ignorant fools might ask, well, the child is just born, it is just day 1 old baby. How can a day 1 old baby have karmic baggage? Well, the very fact that the baby is born is proof that that child has its own karmic baggage. Because if you don't have karma, why would a person choose to be born on this ignorant earth plane? Now, unless you are a reincarnation, unless you have a divine purpose to be born, for the majority of people, in a majority of cases, people are born because they have the karmic baggage to do so. So what should you be doing? Before your 15th birthday, you should work off 10% of your karma that you had at the time of birth. How you do this is up to you. Now, I gave you a very simple method to work off your daily karmas, doing your daily tarpanam, pitru tarpanam, and the other 3 categories of tarpanam. Well, if you're going to think that, well, this is too easy, I'm going to go ahead and complicate my life and do something else, then go ahead, go and do whatever you want to do. If you're going to think, well, this is too easy, I'm going to simplify this even further, then go ahead and simplify it. Whatever you got to do, you do, but you have to work off 10% of your karma that you had at the time of birth. Now remember, I said karma. I did not say good karma, I did not say bad karma. 10% of your total karma. Here is a materialistic example. For example, in the materialistic world, if you have a loan of say 10,000 rupees, then 10% of that comes to around 1,000 rupees. So you have to pay off 1,000 rupees. But if you have a loan of say 10,000 crores of rupees, then what is the 10% of that? It's a huge amount. So whatever is your karmic baggage, 10% of your karma at the time of birth, you will have to work it off before your 15th birthday. Clarification. 6 months from now, I will be more than 15 years old. Am I also included? Short answer, yes. Why? When a 15-year-old can face her karma, why not you? Going forward, these checkpoints are going to be set eternally and permanently. So, when the coming generation and when the future generation are going to face their karmas, and maybe it will help them realize that in future their actions and their inactions are going to have consequences. And when they turn out, hopefully, to be responsible adults, you too should be in a position where you are not able to cause harm to their well-being and their growth. You too should be in a position where you too have practically experienced that your karmas also have consequences. Your actions also have consequences, and you too have faced 10% of your karma. So 6 months from today, when the first batch of people, when the first batch of those kids who are going to have their 15th birthday, when they face 10% of their karma, you too will have to go through this, so that in future, maybe it will help you also to turn out to be a responsible adult. Question number 2. Are these checkpoints going to be applicable across all species? Answer: of course, yes. Divine laws are applicable across the board. As I've told you before, divine laws are not gender specific and they're not species specific. They are applicable to anybody and everybody. Question number 3. Why on their 15th birthday? Why not earlier? Why not later? Answer. In India, when a child is around 3.5 or 4 years old, a child is enrolled in LKG, that is kindergarten in school. In other countries, perhaps the age limit might be a little different. So when a child is around 15 years old, chances are the child would be either in 9th or 10th standard, and the child would have some life experience. Also, when it comes to emotions, there are certain emotions which are normal for any child. Example, emotions like anger, jealousy, etc. Here's an example. Say there's a child and you give that child 2 chocolates, and there is another child sitting next to this child and you give that second child 10 chocolates. And the first child questions you, well, you gave me only 2 chocolates, but my sister who's sitting next to me, you gave her 10 chocolates. Why did you give her more? And the child gets angry. Well, this is normal behavior for a child. And it also tells you that the child is smart enough and brilliant enough to say, hey, you gave me less, but you gave my sister more. So this emotion called anger, and if the child exhibits jealousy, all this is normal behavior for a child. But what is that one emotion that a child doesn't yet know? Answer: lust. At a young age, the emotion called lust hasn't yet entered a child's life. So an innocent heart, an innocent mind is unaware of this emotion. And when a child is in this age, a young age, this is why it is said that getting started on your spiritual journey at a young age is very good and it is highly recommended. Why? Because the emotion called lust hasn't yet entered your mind, hasn't yet entered your life. Note, I said getting started on a child's spiritual journey. I did not say a child has to renounce the family life and enter spirituality. No. Set a strong foundation so that it helps you later in life. Now, after the 15th birthday, even if lust enters a child's life, the emotion called lust enters a child's life, it's okay. Why? Because on their 15th birthday, a child has practically experienced 10% of that child's karmic baggage at birth. So that child knows that actions have consequences. It is not just some distant theory. That child has practically experienced its 10% karmic baggage. And who knows, the child might surprise you. If a child gets started on the spiritual journey at a young age, maybe that innocent boy or that innocent girl can wash off more than 10% of their karma. One will never know until they are given a chance to try.